that nobody cares about your excuses. Everybody has excuses. It this is gonna sound bad, and to any newbies,
What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Side Hustle podcast. Today we have Amanda and Andrew on All Out Thompsons on Instagram. They are six-figure Amazon sellers. They run a prep center. They run a Discord. They work together. So thanks for being here.
thank you so much for having us, John and Drew.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, so give us a little intro. How'd you guys get started with everything? We usually don't go too deep in the intro, so you can just make it pretty basic.
It was actually kind of funny. We were like dating for 2 weeks, and he had like on our first date, he's like, "I like to sell stuff on eBay." I'm like, "Okay, I've done that too." So 2 weeks into dating, you know, we're just hanging out, and he's like, "I want to start an Amazon store," and so I was like, "Do it." You know, it was kind of a test, right? Like, is he a man of his word?
I was like, bet. So I got right on my laptop, started my LLC, got my store going, and I was like, all right, I'm looking at the dashboard. I'm like, I don't know what I'm looking at, but like, here we are. We got the store open, and we're gonna figure it out together.
I had actually read a book called The 4 Agreements, and I gave it to him to read after me. And that was the first thing that he sold on Amazon. It was for a loss because we didn't understand how it all works, but it was for proof of concept. So like, okay, we got our first sale. This works, even though it was for a loss. But at least the item was free. It would have been for a worse loss if we actually paid for it. But that's the gist of how we got started.
That's awesome. The 4 agreements, I've sold so many of those. It goes in and out of profitability just depending on the time. It only works because the book is so small. If you merge and fulfill it. But yeah, that's just funny. Side note.
So were you into business when you met him, or was he just into it and got you into it?
He got me into it. We met, and our entire relationship and now marriage has just been about reselling. So, and just entrepreneurship. We have a couple businesses. So it just works.
Yeah, that's awesome. So when did you said something about like a small prep center or whatever before that? How did you guys get into doing that? Like how long in the journey?
Our friend that we met at Miami Seller Conference, he was moving back to Hawaii, so it wasn't going to make sense for him to have stuff shipped to him or anything. So he knew that we were in tax-free New Hampshire, and was just like, "Hey man," talking to him, "Hey man, can you just prep our stuff? Can you prep my stuff?" And
well, it started with, "Hey, can you sell my unsellables? Like, just we all have random little things." I'm like, "Sure, I can do that for a small cut, like for some extra money." And then it was an FBA shipment. And then it was, "Hey, can you merchant fulfill all of my stuff for Q4?" And I was like, "Absolutely." And then it's been escalating slowly from that. And I was like, we should turn this into an actual prep center and not just like make it 2 separate businesses instead of like my reselling business, like, doing the prep. It just like
completely separate it. And then another person that we met at Miami Seller Conference, he was like, "Hey, you got a capital issue. I got a prep issue. Prep is taking over my whole apartment. Can you please prep our stuff?" So it was just people asking us to prep our stuff. And then it just blossomed, and it snowballed. And we have a ton of clients now. For us, we're baby seller, not baby sellers, but we're a baby prep center in a little 2,000 square foot warehouse that we got just for us, just for our prep. And just for our stores, because we're on multiple platforms. But when we first moved in here, we were like, we went too big. And then, no, we've outgrown our spot very fast.
So how do the numbers break down that? I know I love hearing about the prep center stuff because I've known a few like prep center owners, and some of them struggle really bad. And I just know it's hard work. I know that. So like, what's the number? Is it super profitable, or is it kind of like, how does that go?
Well, we're still baby prep center, so we're just kind of like getting the hang of it. Q4 was nuts in here. Andrew still works a full-time job, so I was in here by myself. And I don't know if you've seen anywhere on social media, but I literally have a disability. I have chronic heart failure and all of the things. I have a defibrillator in my chest. So Q4 was chaos in here. But I was handling 5 stores and FBM. It was like hundreds of packages a day. And Andrew's like, "How are you doing this? How are you keeping up?" And I'm like, "I'm not. I'm going to jump off a cliff right now." So profitability wise, our prep center makes more money than we do, basically, I would say. Because if you think about it, if your prep, how many items can you prep in an hour? and you offload that to maybe some kid off the street that comes in and wants a job, which happened to us. We have a prep guy. He's 17 and he just walked in here knocking on the door. Hey, can I have a job? And I was like, yeah, I like that. I like that initiative. So he just preps for us. You pay somebody what, $10 an hour? He's 17. To prep something. You could, how many items can you prep in an hour that you're only paying $10 for? You know what I mean? But the prep client is paying what, $1, $1.20, $1.30. How many products can you prep in an hour? Obviously more than 10, but you only pay your employee $10 an hour. There's an offset there. So even though I was run ragged in Q4, we made a lot of money. So and because we hadn't separated the businesses yet, that was a nice cash injection for our reselling business. And we didn't take anybody's leads. Like, I know that that's a huge concern for people. But one of our clients was like, hey, you should get on this listing. And I'm like, okay, tell me your source.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We try to shift information, like someone will be like, hey, here's this. Like, okay, well, here's this,
Yeah. So do you guys plan to grow that a lot more? Is that, because it sounds like you kind of like it too. So is that like the kind of goal is to make that bigger?
I think yes. Well, one, it's like Andrew's dream, and I'm just, the happy supportive life. And where was I going with that? Oh, growing it. Yeah, we made it official. Where the slogan or the motto for Tax Free New Hampshire is "Live Free or Die." So our prep center is called Live Free or Die Distribution and Tax Free New Hampshire. So that's great. But we really do. We want to expand. We have big dreams, and
I see the potential in the prep side. Like, there's always a demand. There's always people doing, OA. Like, I can't see it completely dying. People are always going to try and find the cheapest products possible. There's so many different ways to make something as cheap as possible. There's so many people. The thing is, it's going to be like space and employees. But once we figure that out, I see the future of being like something pretty big, and it's exciting.
We have a lot of people to call on. Like, if we want to just pay them as a contractor or whatever, there's all of our friends are always looking to make side money. They're not as committed to start a side hustle. So they'll just help pack our products here. Andrew's cousin, Tyler, who you'll see moving around in our warehouse in the back, he just moved here from Florida. I don't know what possessed him to leave Florida, beautiful sunshine Florida, to come to here, negative degree weather. But he saw snow for the first time and he's liking it. So, and he's a really good employee. If there's something about a Tompson, they just know how to work. They have a really great work ethic. And I'm surprised that this one had the entrepreneurial drive where they're just so work focused. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Yeah, I want to get out of my 9 to 5 eventually. I feel like I'm getting closer and closer. It seemed like Amazon would have just taken longer if it was just Amazon, and also with just one source of revenue, it's kind of like more difficult. I want I'd rather have chunks of things and then be like, okay, I don't actually have to go to a job, my job.
But, yeah, it makes sense. Because if you just have one, then if you lose that, then you're like, why did I just quit my job? Now,
I don't want to go get another job. Like, I just was doing that.
Diversification is huge. And your podcast with Sarah was talking about is Walmart worth it? And then John and Sarah were talking about the AIP and everything. And so I am also on AIP. Once these guys get the ropes down here, once he leaves his job, I can really focus on that. And I'm just dabbling right now. I'm waiting for John's blooper reel. I
could have done it today. I literally this week have probably made close to 100 videos, but I just don't have time for the blooper reel. That's right before this podcast I was doing it. I was just trying to rush because I knew we had this podcast, and I was just like, there are so many of them, but one of these days I'm gonna do it.
I can't wait.
How do you like AIP?
I really haven't played with it too much. I've made like 6 videos. That's how new I am. Cool. But it sounds fun. It looks interesting. I don't have to talk to anybody except the camera. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It looks promising. I like that there's no inventory involved except all the free stuff you get.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that there's not really a whole lot that you got to do, like labor intensive compared to reselling.
Yeah, once you like really get into it, I was just telling Drew before this, like today, like I feel like I'm finally like in this stride where like I have enough videos and almost like enough like credibility where like I'm starting to get like really good stuff. Like someone sent me like a $500 electric scooter. I got like a $400 wine cooler the other day. Like it's just really good stuff too. But yeah, it's really exciting. I really like it a lot.
I love seeing your screenshots of like your videos that you have to do, or what you just recorded. Like you and Noelle, when you guys post those, I'm like, oh, we gotta get another hire in here.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I see, but you have a bunch of shoes back there. Are you big like shoe seller? Is that kind of what started the reselling stuff?
That's actually our biggest prep client. He's at max capacity right now, so we're just kind of storing. He has so much in Amazon. Like,
wow,
that's not ours.
We went to do another shipment, and I was just like, wait, it's saying max capacity. And I was just like, hey, by the way, he's like, oh.
So it's just kind of hanging here in limbo until he frees up some space. But he's a huge seller, like multi 7 figures. So, and he just launched a PL on TikTok and on Amazon. So we're fulfilling that on both those platforms for him as well. We actually got an order for him today for some Hawaii customer. I'm like, you could have walked this to them, but now it's going from Rochester, New Hampshire to Hawaii.
Wow.
Very cool though. His PL's doing really well. It was slow in the beginning, which I think people want that instant gratification if they're starting a PL. And they're like, oh, this isn't as good. But I saw that he showed his face in a TikTok video talking about it. And I think once you put a face to the brand, you'll sell more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I was going to say that about the prep center situation. Is like, even if OA completely dies, let's say, you have wholesale, you have private label. And the great thing about a prep center is you're not relying on these people to necessarily be profitable. They just have to like use your stuff. So that's why it's kind of like a foolproof business of like your clients are just people like you're just fulfilling a thing that they have to have regardless if they're making money or what business they're doing. Like they have to like send their product somewhere. So wrapping back to what you said earlier, I do see the vision too of how you're like, yeah, I see how this could be probably like $1 million, $2 million, $3 million a year thing, right?
And it's exitable too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So like,
that's all I was talking about.
And full of like private label clients like that holds so much value, and then that can just be like, boom, the business could be like, could exit for like 5 million in the future. Like, you never know.
Yeah, 100%. And it's great that you got into something like that too, where you start with reselling. I think a lot of people like pigeonhole themselves in the reselling type stuff, but it's like, man, you branch out to something like that, you just never know what it could be worth. Right now, you're just in that little place, but yeah, it can grow really fast. We've had some big PL guy or big prep center guys on. Who was the guy we had on?
He
runs a really big one. Yeah.
Oh, it's Chaz.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice. We're in his Discord. We had him on one of our Discord calls talking all about eBay.
That was a good call.
That was a really good call. It ended up they're not too structured. They're kind of just like this, like you wing it, you're just having a conversation, a laid back chat, and it ended up being like 3 hours. I'm like, guys, I gotta go to bed.
He's doing live Facebook sourcing and like showing us what like to buy and be careful what about this and that, and we're like keep going, we're gonna stay here all day. Like,
speaking of that was really fun because before that Chaz and I were talking and he was like, send me your zip code. I'm like, okay, here you go. And then he goes into the Facebook marketplace and he's finding all these leads for me, and he's like talking to these people, these sellers, and he found a Dymo lead, like one of those Dymo printer leads. It was still brand new, and this was like 11:30 at night, and he found this, and he's talking to the guy, and he set it up so that Andrew could go get the thing 7 o'clock the next morning. Like, it had only been 8 hours since he had messaged them and that we picked it up. Like, the follow through is very important here. If Chaz is gonna go find you something profitable, you're gonna go get it. Yep. So we did, and we just sold it this week we bought it for 60 and we sold it for 135 or 140. So super easy.
I was like, yeah, of course I'm gonna go pick it up.
I was like, wow, maybe this Facebook marketplace flips onto eBay, there's something behind it. But no, AIP is my next.
I'm super curious.
Stuff.
No, I'm done.
I get the bug all the time because I started with Facebook Marketplace. I started flipping furniture, and every once in a while when I see Chad's story, I'm like, I don't know. Like, maybe I could do this, but I don't know. I'm too busy with all the other stuff I have to do.
Well, he got his prep center up and running, so now he needs a side hustle, hence his name, right? So he's building this whole eBay store. Is that his basement?
He has storage units.
Oh, okay. That thing's full. If my house looked like that, I would be so upset. And
So
John's background, look at John's living room.
Is he doing just I'm not I don't even get on social media like that. So is he doing Facebook like marketplace pickups to eBay flips?
Yeah.
Wow.
How
do you even source like that?
Right? It's like manual sourcing for Amazon. You gotta dig through.
It's so easy though. Like once you start, like when I was doing furniture, like once you buy like or you mark you completed the sale, that's all they show you. Like they'll just show you tables and chairs, or they'll like once the algorithm like gets caught up, and once like you kind of have like I don't know. Now they have ratings and stuff like that. I love Facebook Marketplace. I sell a lot of AIP stuff on there. But yeah, once you kind of get it going, it's just easy.
That's very true. The algorithm starts adjusting to what it knows that you like. Like when Chaz was sourcing for us on his platform, it was showing him just all like digital cameras and like stuff that he's usually seeing. So yeah, that's very true.
You guys got into Walmart yet? I know that's the big buzz for most sellers.
Actually, this last week we did better on Walmart than we did on Amazon. And
interesting.
That's kind of saying something. It's just because I think Amazon's been pumping out a lot of BS lately. Like gating, thank God, knock on wood, we never went through that Nike regate or any suspensions or Section 3s. We never did. And like Tyler here in the background, Tyler went through a huge Section 3, no, not a Section 3, a suspension, a regate of Nike. That's how we ended up with all this. This is his removals, which we have decided not to do for anybody else ever again. Because he's such a massive seller. He has so much sent here. But yeah.
This is one of those big UPS trucks that pulled up. I was like,
a tractor trailer.
I was like, uh-oh.
We don't have a loading dock. Uh-oh.
It's the absolute worst. When they did restock limits, I had to take out a ton of books from Amazon, and they just send them individually. I got like 2 half pallets. I got like poly bag. Like it was an absolute disaster. And massive removals are so bad.
Oh my gosh. I have to pause for just one moment, guys.
Yeah,
little technical difficulties there. So I was wondering if you guys are storing that stuff. Do you charge for storage?
We don't. Can you sign for that? We don't charge for storage yet. Because if you've got units here, it's got to go. Like why would you want to sit on it? No, we don't have enough room for storage. So if they meet a specific threshold, we're getting it out. Like as it's coming in, we're checking it in, we're putting it into a batch. As soon as it gets to like, a certain threshold, we send it. An agreed upon threshold between the client and us.
Yeah. And I know John introduced you guys, said you had a Discord. Do you guys run like a little info community or anything?
Yeah, it's free. It's a little Discord community that we made a little bit over a year ago, and it's grown. It's got like 300 members in it or something like that. And it's like a cute little community. We all say good morning every day, and what's going on in your life? What are you struggling with right now? And then if we know that somebody went through a Section 3 that this person's talking about, then we tag all the people that have been in Section 3s. It's a nice little community, and we have weekly calls. Last week we had on Misha. I'm sure you guys know him. Maybe you do, John. He's big into wholesale, and we had him on, and he talked about his experience with that. Next week we have Arbitrage Card or Arby Card or whatever.
Arbitrage Card.
Somebody from there coming on to talk about how
Miami.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
And then, so on and so forth. We had a bookkeeping call. We had we've featured other sellers in there. Yeah. Just trying to spread the word, when you first join or you first start Amazon or Walmart or any other platform, and you're like, where the hell do I start? Or you have everybody in your DMs trying to sell you a course. Somebody, and you're like, I don't know if I can trust this person. So that's why we kind of made that Discord. We're like, we're a community, we want real recommendations, real live tutorials and testimonials from real people, not just thinking, with AI and everything nowadays, it's like, is this a real person? Can anybody tell me this is a real person with real results? So that's how the Discord community actually was born. It was his idea, and I was like, another task.
Yeah. I was like, we have to start a Discord. She's like, oh, what? I have so much to do. I'm like, it's going to be worth it. It's going to be fun.
It's one of my favorite things. I'm like one of the first people that checks in.
You love it so much.
Yeah, you guys have a prime offer for an info product with as a couple doing all this business stuff. I feel like I don't see many people like that. They're like, if you're a couple too, because I would take coaching calls sometimes and like somebody would get on with their girlfriend or whatever, or a girl would get on with their boyfriend. I'm just like, man, if there was somebody that was like in their shoes that they're like, look at these people, we could be like them. Keep that in mind. I think that's that's a little niche part of the market that I don't think a lot of people be like willing to do. Or they're not on the same page with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't think we'd actually coach people, but we have a YouTube and we want to talk about that aspect on there someday when we have time.
Right now, we've just been like putting up our recorded Zoom calls on there just so people can rewatch it and like trying to, upload content as much as we can. We want to start actually making, fun YouTube videos, like maybe like RA to like your first shipment to ship out completely, like fun stuff like that.
Yeah, and all those YouTube videos, those tutorials or whatever, all geared towards beginners, right? Nobody's nurturing the people that are already been doing it. Everybody's trying to gain brand new customers, and that drives me nuts. So I think we should have like, a beginner's segment and then so on and so forth. Like, have you know what I'm talking about? It's
definitely
not just beginners. Like, we want to grow the community with people that have experience too.
Yeah, you were working on like the people that like middle of the funnel people, like people that are already I get it for sure. Making that beginner content all the time is brutal too. It's like so repetitive. There's only so many things you can say. It's same questions. It's like trash. And like the churn, it's like how many people even stay around. It's really hard to make that I get what you're saying for sure.
That's true. I'm sure a lot of people fall off and they're like, they start like they're a month in, they're like, this doesn't work, I'm done. I'm like, but you got to go. Like, we're going on our third year and we're still like, what else can we learn? Like, there's always something.
Yep. I always like asking the couples, how is it working with like a relationship? I love hearing about this. I think like everybody kind of has a little dream to like work with their partner a little bit or, do something together. So it seems like you guys are making it work pretty well. How do you think, you have any tips for that for other couples maybe watching?
Yeah. So like I said, we were on a Be Cool podcast earlier this year, and we had that question as well. So one thing that I would recommend to couples is figure out what your weaknesses are and what your strengths are and divvy up the work accordingly. I'm good with computer work, social media, getting back to people, scheduling. I've been in retail for so long and like office settings that scheduling is kind of my forte. And like graphic design and stuff like that. Andrew, on the other hand, he's the grunt work. He does the lifting, the heavy lifting, the getting the boxes, going to Walmart to get more boxes, supplies, showing Tyler and whoever else we end up hiring how to do shipments, things like that.
I like showing people how to like, use the softwares that we use, and like, I want to like write, SOPs and make everything like so simple. Like if you forget something, you just like open a book and be like, okay, it's that, like simple as that. I haven't even started that yet, but like I'm noticing like a few things that like people can forget. It's like second nature to me. It's just like click. But like new people, they're gonna be like, what am I looking at? This new software. It's like
it can be very overwhelming, especially when there's an update in the middle of your training, like with Inventory Lab or with another, another system. But that's got to be like, I feel for Tyler right now because he's been here like 2 weeks now. He successfully did 2 shipments by himself. And he did really well. Of course, they were our shipments, so we didn't have him test dummy on a client. But yeah, you just divvy up the work according to your strengths and weaknesses. And Andrew and I have always been on the same page about what's important and what's not. If it's something stupid that we're having a little tiff over, we're over it quickly. We're like, this doesn't even matter. Can we just move on? And then we move on. We don't like to stay on something. It doesn't make sense. It's not moving us forward. Let's cut that out.
That's nice. That's a big thing. Yeah. I think most people just do that anyways, stay on stuff. But what about like your personal life and the business life, or is it all kind of blend together? Do you try to like separate
Oh,
it?
what a personal life is. We'll get to laying in bed at night, and Andrew's like, "Hey, did you?" No, I did not. I don't know what you're saying, but I don't want to talk about work in bed. It's bedtime.
It's so hard. There's always so much going on, and I'm like, something will pop in my head, and I'll be like, actually, can I just say one more thing? And it'll be like,
we go on a date, and he mentions work. I'm like, so this is a business meeting and a write-off.
Yep, true.
Yeah,
that does make dates pretty easy, I guess. They're always right off almost.
I'm like, okay, I'll write down the minutes. Like, what did we talk about? Because this is now a business meeting.
I'm like, that's fine. Now I can say everything that's on my mind.
Sweet. Well, what you got, John?
That's really cool. What do you do for your 9 to 5, or can you say?
Yeah, I can say I'm research and development and specialist. What we do is we develop HVAC products for liquid and like air filtration products.
But you worked your way up. You're essentially an engineer without the degree and student debt.
Essentially, I have no background in school or nothing. It's just like 12 years experience, and it's kind of like it's getting repetitive. And I'm just like, I'm thankful to have a job and have like another source of income, but like eventually I just want to be done with it. I don't want to have a 9 to 5. I want to be more flexible, even if it's more of this, but then I can be like, hey, let's leave for 30 days instead of me asking, hey, can I go on vacation? And they're like, no. And I'm like, oh, like that's uncomfortable to me. I want to just be able to be like, let's go. Like if operations is running good and everything's okay, I'll bring my laptop and my phone and then I'll be happy. I'll just be like, oh, you need help? Okay. Like,
I was just going to ask you, how you leave here, you're at work 7 to 3 every day. How does it feel to know that you have a business running without you touching it? Like we're here receiving shipments, moving things along. How does that feel?
It feels good and weird at the same time. Cause I'm like, all this stuff is going out the door and I didn't do anything. Like, cause I'm so used to like, oh, if I didn't like touch or do it, like, did it get done? I don't know if that sounds weird, but like, I don't know. It's just like things are just working. And I'm like,
he'll see stuff in our inventory selling and he's like, I didn't even see that. Is this really supposed to be ours? I'm like, yes, I bought that. I processed it. I put it in a shipment. So, it's if I was in your shoes, if I didn't see that, I'd be like, how am I selling this?
Because
do you have a point where you're like, I'm going to quit the job? Or do you have like a number in mind where you're like, I need to get the X per month or X net worth? And then you're like, okay, now I'll get out. Or is it always like a rotating thing?
I've been battling myself like when to leave. I've been telling myself like, I don't know, should it be a certain number or this or that? So right now I'm just trying to use up my vacation time. And then I pre-drafted my my resignation letter. Nice. And I'm just like, all right, so I'm getting closer and closer.
It's in writing. Now it has to happen. You're manifesting. It's gonna happen.
Like I know what I want, but it's so scary because it's like,
is it scary though? You could go get a DoorDash order and make dinner money. Like what?
I know, but
what do you do? So when I was like thinking about you leaving my job, so I had like the whole thing written or whatever. I literally remember this. Like I went to like a Panera. And like I had like I think it was like 4 quadrants. It's like what's the best case scenario? What's like an okay scenario? Not that great. Like worst case scenario. And like the worst case scenario is like none of that shit is ever going to happen because like if it ever gets that bad, like I'm just gonna go. What am I gonna do? Get another job and it's fine. Like that was kind of like the basis. It's like, well, if I do leave, like I can make a lot more money. I don't have to. I hate my job right now. Like there is more to the list or whatever, but it was just like when you write down all the worst case scenario stuff that you think are going to happen and then you read it, you're like, I don't think so. Like I just really don't. And then next to it put like what would you do if it happened? You're like, okay, like this is totally doable.
That's very true. I think one thing that's like stopping him is the responsibility for your wife that's disabled and needs healthcare. And like, how does that all work? Like, it's just another thing we'll have to get through.
And an 11-year-old.
Yeah, we have an 11-year-old. So, yeah.
So the healthcare thing is brutal.
Yeah, healthcare is brutal. So depending on how it's set up, you could do Cobra. So I don't know how it is in your state, but basically you keep the same coverage that you have for like 6 months, but you pay like basically what your company is paying, and then you just buy like, I don't know, whatever off whatever marketplace you're in. So you go like Ohio Health Insurance. It's actually pretty easy, and it's sort of not that expensive. Well, obviously it will depend on what you need, but it's not. I was so overwhelmed by it, but when I was just like, oh, like this is pretty easy.
And then once I get into AIP, that'll all pay for itself.
There we go.
Exactly.
And then you'll be here working so that I can focus on it. So there,
go do the prep work.
Go ahead. Just go ahead. Just give your notice already.
Are you guys like this is a weird question. We're not even going to go into this, but this is just part of that. Are you religious?
I would consider myself a Christian.
Okay. Well, the only reason I asked that is because I know that there's healthcare plans for like Christians or whatever, where you all pull in money. I was looking at a bunch of stuff. I saw that, and like for your situation, wherever you might be, especially we have multiple people. So I was just trying to get it for me, and I was like, this is because you have all these people. If you sign up for these websites, you have like 50 agents calling you a day. I'm not even joking, 50 or more, just offering you all these healthcare things. And they all act like they're giving you the best deal, but they're just trying to scam you. And then eventually I got on the phone. I was like, I'm just going to mess with people all day. And the guy was like, dude, whatever you signed up for is bad. You need this. It's way cheaper. He walked me through everything. He was like a nice dude, but he was telling me about all these different plans. And that's one option too. I don't know how it works, but you'll have to look it up.
I've seen that. I think you also have to prove your denomination or like your church affiliation. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Probably.
I think you do. So I used to work at an insurance marketing agency, kind of. You'd have to look it up, but some of those plans, like it's the pool, like it sounds really good on paper, but then if you need something, like there's a vote, like whether you get the, like there's something like where like you can't, they're not going to pay out more than the pool, and like if a bunch of people need shit, then they decide, you know, who's gonna get it. That's how it was like 5 years ago when I worked there, because this was like the hottest thing ever. I remember writing like email marketing for this. They're like, oh, like, you know, offer your clients the lowest insurance, they need to meet this. Like, I don't even remember what the qualifications were, but like if you read, because you'd have to read like the fine print of the policy and then be like, hey, like you got to do this, like it's amazing. But when you read the fine print, it's like, yeah, like they probably could deny like your claim. It's they only could spend what's in the pool. Is
that
like
would
kind
really
of the tagline.
because, yeah, my cardiologist, like I just had a follow up, and it was like, it was like a follow up for a second opinion about a heart transplant. So I don't think that I would like to go through that.
Yeah, that was
$2 million bill, honey.
Start another business.
That's right. Just start another business.
Yeah, so you're kind of, I guess that's a concern a little bit. And then I don't know though. Do you think you wouldn't just make more money if you quit the job though? Like you'd have more time if you're already running.
Just make more money.
I truly think so, because then I could focus on the business 100%. Not like sometimes I feel like I can't focus enough because like, you know, I have, you know, the 9 to 5. Sometimes I have to travel for it, and I'm just like, I don't want to go to Maryland for a day and come back because I feel like I should be here doing something or helping out with something else. But
do you like the 9 to 5 or not really?
It's a paycheck.
So that's a no.
It's been fun, but it's now just seems like repetitive, and I've just been in the same industry for a while, and I'm like, my heart has always been in like reselling. I've always been trying to like flip random stuff. Like I start on eBay, just random stuff. And I'm like, this is so cool. And then like, I didn't know anything about, you know, prep centers or anything along this lines.
I didn't even know they existed.
You know, we started selling on Amazon, and then I'm like, prep centers. And then I was like, I don't want to get a prep center. Why do I want to pay that extra fee? Let's just do it ourselves. Like that's what I was thinking. Like we never used a prep center, and then like we just always were prepping our own stuff, and then accidentally turned this into like a little prep center. And I was like, okay, I'm like, wait, there's like infinite scale if you like have the room, the right, you know, operations and things in place. I just seems sometimes too good to be true. I'm like, is this real? Like,
I know, and
everyone needs to send stuff.
I like that. I like our little client base that we have because it's all people that we've built relationships with. We don't have anybody that we prep for that we don't personally know or have talked to numerous times in Discord, on Instagram, or in person. You know, it's not just somebody just messaging me and then signing up. Like, we have personal relationships with these people. And something that I think everybody should do is figure out your love language, and then find a business that can work with your love language. Like, we like to show love in acts of service. We love being of service to people, helping them and helping them grow their business. Like, Brian had told us that, not the Brian in Discord, John, but a different Brian. Brian had told us that by utilizing us as his prep center, he had his best month ever in December. And that felt really good. Like, I didn't get an extra bonus or anything. That was my bonus, that gratification of helping somebody else.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's sweet. I've never heard anybody say that before. That's pretty good. Yeah, make a good clip.
Another thing you could probably do, I think another thing that you could probably do is, I did this and it was super helpful. So I didn't get many vacation days, but I basically did nothing and literally took, like, I was able to bookend, like, I took a full week off and then pretended like my side hustle was the full-time job. And I did it in the winter and then again in the summer, because they're like, oh, like, that's a lucky week or whatever. But like, it worked out both times. Like, oh man, like, I could do so much more stuff. And I actually like doing this full time. And it was just like, okay, after that second one, I was like, this is over. And then I think like something dumb happened at work. I'm like, I'm over this. Like, I'm out of here.
I'm curious what you think about, me and you never talk about this, John. I never had a job. I haven't had one since I was 18, so I don't really ever mention this stuff. But what do you think, like, what do you recommend to people that have a 9-to-5 that are kind of making the excuses, I don't have time, I don't have energy, or, like, what do you, I'm asking kind of John and you guys this, you can go in whatever order, but like, how do you get over it without it just being like, stop being a pussy or whatever?
You guys can go first.
Or maybe that is the answer. I don't know.
I mean, that's a good one, but no, if you really want it, you really just gotta, like, you will find time. Like, I'm working, 40, like, let's say, at least 40 hours a week.
Mhm.
I'm always working at least 40 hours. It can be more. It can be very, very long days. It can be 12-hour days. I'm still like, all right, did all the FBM get out? Like, I will, just make sure everything's still okay. I got up at 5 o'clock this morning just to reprice, just to get it out of the way. And most people were like, oh, I don't want to get up at 5 a.m. It's like, you will if you really want to get where you want to go. Like, that's what drives me and I got right up out of bed. I'm like, all right, I got to reprice Walmart, Amazon, make sure everything's okay, because I can't just forget and be like, oh, sales are kind of crappy because I should have done that 2 weeks ago. So I told myself I'm getting up at 5 a.m. and I'm going to just reprice and then go on my day. And I'm like, it already helped us get some sales because prices were just, prices move and you got to, like, stay competitive,
There's a saying, nobody cares, work harder. And on our 1-year business anniversary, I got a bunch of stuff from I don't even know where that said that on it. We got a couple t-shirts, and it just solidifies that nobody cares about your excuses. Everybody has excuses. This is going to sound bad, and to any newbies, I'm sorry, but your excuses don't matter. I literally have heart failure, and I worked way more than you. So you don't have excuses. It's kind of ableist to say that, though, to somebody with a disability. I apologize. Where was I going with that? Our work-life balance does not exist. It's sickening. It's disgusting. And you have to be able to do that. Okay, I wasn't able to do that, but I did it. And pushing through that, I would say quicksand. It wasn't mud. It was quicksand. And getting through that, I'm like, wow, I'm really capable of more than what I thought. And
you amazed me during Q4. I was like,
I'm literally in heart failure right now.
She's my ankles, I can't walk. I'm like, I promise you'll never go through a Q4 again. So
by myself.
Like, by yourself.
Yeah. So one thing that I really want to do is to make like a segment on YouTube for people that are disabled, to show them that this is possible. You're disabled, but you can run a side hustle. You are not surviving off of disability income. I can tell you that. Because it's like, what, $800 to $1,000 a month, where you're not paying for an apartment. So I really want to, I don't see anybody disabled in this space. And I don't look disabled, but I literally I have a scar on my chest from my defibrillator. Like, I want to teach people that just because you're disabled, it doesn't mean that you're unable.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
I agree with everything you guys said. I think it just really comes down to excuses. And I mean, I don't have any kids, and like that's what everyone will point to, like, oh, you don't understand because you don't have any kids. But like, I have other responsibilities, and like, to the counter to that, it's just like, well, that's what I chose, and like, I have other things that I could be doing besides working, but like, I chose to do this. And I think a lot of people, like, I think Hermosi says it, is just like, there's someone who did what you want to do that has had it worse than you, they've had it better than you, like, it's just possible if someone did it, like, you could do it. And I think just a lot of people maybe don't think they can do it. And I do think there are just some people out there that just love to complain. And like, no matter what happens, like, you could give them $1 million and they're like, oh, there's too many $100 bills. Like, I wanted more 20s, or like whatever it is. And I think you see a lot of that. Or you just you're just in a bad spot and you got to figure that out. But I mean, I do remember it. It was just like when I had my 9 to 5, like I started with books. So like, when I woke up early, I would just go to the gym because like there were no thrift stores open. Lunchtime, I went to a thrift store every lunch hour, or like did something for the business. After work, I always hit up like 2 or 3 thrift stores by my house every single day. And then the weekends, it was like these huge book road trips every single weekend. And it was just like, whatever. That's what's required to do this. And then like, I'm not taking any money out of the business because I was like very fortunate that like, I lived below my means. I was able to build like emergency fund without having to take any money out of the business because I was like, eventually one day, like, I am leaving and I'm going to have all this money as like a nice buffer. But like, that's what it takes for like 2 years, like dealing with fights for like not wanting to like hang out on the weekend and just gotta work, like just like shit like that. But that's what it really takes. It's not just like, yeah, like maybe I'll go to the thrift store. It's like, no, like this is what's going on.
Yeah, and like friends and family might not understand or just drop you as a friend because they just don't care. But thankfully, our close friends were in here helping pack orders for us. My mom's disabled, and she would come here and put stickers on product for us, and that's nice. We need more entrepreneur friends who get it, though.
Yeah, it's without like a circle like that, I think it is tough. I remember I tried to start a business with one of my real life friends that like probably about a year and a half ago at this point, and he just wasn't doing enough work. And he's like, well, I got the job and all this stuff. And I sat him down one day and I was like, dude, you've got to understand this. Like, your life's going to suck if you want to make this work. Like, your family, you're not going to have a great relationship. Your friends, it's not going to be great. You have to drop all this stuff. And then he's like, well, you can say that because you don't have a job. And I was like, dude, I don't have an income. This is worse. I literally don't even have anything. But yeah, that's just kind of what it takes. Yeah, you just have to like cut off everything, really. And I think people see like everybody online and they're like, oh, they already made it. It must not have been that hard. But it's like, yeah, you didn't see the whole grind before it got there. I think that's a tough part. People see that part and then they just kind of think that's how it's supposed to be when it's not.
We actually post, it is a hell of a grind. One of my big things about social media is showing the struggles. And I think that's why a lot of people relate to us and follow us and join our Discord, because we talk about the real stuff. People are just flashing their numbers. We stopped doing that because we're like, oh, that's kind of cringe. And then, as my son says, he said, Mom, don't be sus the other day. And I'm like, what does that even mean? I learned that it means suspicious. But, showing the behind the scenes, without giving away your products or anything, showing, how to get through a hurdle of, I don't know, a switcheroo or a fake, a lying customer, whatever. I don't see that on the big guru pages. And I think that that's what's missing from some of this platform, is showing the real behind the scenes. I know that the gurus don't want to show the hurdles because they want it to seem like it's an easy in. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I think if we just equip new sellers with, solutions instead of hiding the nitty gritty, then they'll be fine and they'll buy from you. Like, why are we hiding that?
Yeah, I like expectations. Yeah.
I mean, that's what, like, some of the times too, it's like I don't know if I have the courage to do it, but like if I like took a videoed what is going on behind me with all these there's probably like 30 or 40 unopened boxes and another 30 open boxes just from AIP. That's what it is. Like when I show the warehouse, I'd be like, yo, look at all these boxes, and this place is an absolute mess, and that's really how it is. It's not like this perfect little everything's an organization and all this other stuff. And I think a lot of the thing too, some of the gurus, they really don't have those hurdles because they're not kind of doing it. So I think there's another angle to that as well. But yeah, I really like your guys' content. I kept seeing it in my feed, and I just really like what you guys are doing. So I was like, we should get them on the pod.
Thank you. Really appreciate that.
Yeah. So what's your, let's say your biggest goal over the next 3 to 5 years? Not in terms of just quitting a job or whatever, but if one of these things you're running has to take off, do you want it to be the prep center, the social media? What's kind of the big focus in 3 to 5 years?
Well, Andrew will never give up reselling. He's been doing it since childhood, selling energy drinks in school and everything. But reselling will never take a back burner. But growing the prep center and our Discord and our YouTube. Prep center to give back and help people actually scale their businesses, the Discord to help people through the hurdles, and also the YouTube to branch out into maybe the disabled community, the seasoned sellers, and maybe some newbie sellers to show them how to get through hurdles.
Mm-hmm. And that stuff's also the Discord and the YouTube is a good funnel for the prep center, because as you grow that, obviously you need marketing for your prep center. Having people that you interact with all the time is going to be even better, especially where you're talking about the personal relationships. You have all these people that have either a somewhat personal or whatever it's called when they watch your stuff all the time. So probably a better client as well. So I like that.
I think so too. And right now we're running everything off of a Discord server, a couple Discord servers for our clients, and it's working out really well. We have a channel for anything that comes in here damaged, and we send them pictures. So I talked to Danny, one of our clients, and I said, hey, did your previous prep center show you pictures of, damages so that you could try to get some money back? She said no. So that's something that prep centers aren't doing. Maybe not all of them, but they're not looking out for their client. What are they doing? Are they just saying it's damaged and then keeping it? What are they doing?
Go
ahead. You might be asking the same thing.
Do you guys get a lot of damaged stuff, number one, from retailers, and a lot of lost packages?
It's mostly damaged because it'd be
FedEx
glass.
will throw stuff on our cement floor. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
FedEx.
You have to have contractors. You just have a bad so FedEx. I don't know if they're not like UPS, so they have random people that do that. So those people must just not care about your place, or they're just probably bitter that they have to do so much stuff. That was my experience when I was getting a lot of packages from FedEx. You just get the wrong guy, and he's like, I do not care about these people.
There's this one FedEx guy who he literally tells me he hates his job and he can't wait. He can't. That's Nick. Oh shoot! I shouldn't have said that.
Let it out.
I can't wait to retire. And he's not even old enough to retire, but apparently FedEx pays really well. He's maybe 40, 45, and he just comes in here and he's like, I can't wait. I'm like, why are you venting to me?
I don't think I met him.
No, but Paul, who is able to retire, he's been with UPS for a very long time. He's very gentle with our packages. Never had anything damaged by UPS. Knock on wood.
UPS has just good employees, I think, where they have good. They have a good union. People get paid well. They have good health insurance. UPS employees are the best always,
for sure.
Yeah. What was I going to ask? Oh yeah, do you guys run the Discord and the tech side of it, or do you have someone else checking in with customers and stuff?
No, it's all us. We do not have any bots in there. It's all real time, real life. I've been in plenty of Discords where it's all bots, and I'm like, can I talk to a real person? It's very difficult sometimes, but no, it's just us.
Yeah. What do you think when it gets bigger and bigger? That'll be tough, won't it?
It could be. Yeah.
It definitely could be. Definitely, we've had a lot of spam. It was a surge of spam accounts that it was difficult to get rid of. I don't know how it happened, how they get in there so easily, but they're just posting a bunch of fake crypto links, and I was like, don't click it. Just
delete, ban, kick. Yeah.
And I'm I have to quickly go on my phone. I'm oh, this is difficult on my phone.
Speaking of crypto, saw that Drew's big into crypto. You're big into crypto.
I love crypto.
Oh, you're into crypto?
I've been into crypto for years.
He jokingly gave me $500 and I put it on. What did I put it on? Not all of it. I did buy some Bitcoin.
I don't know what you bought.
I bought SpongeBob and Jesus coin.
Wait, so how into it are you? Like
swap and stuff, like just teaching her how it works. And I used to, flip NFTs and stuff. Didn't do anything big. I was just trying to see how it all worked. It was fun and interesting. It was mostly on the Solana blockchain. I never did anything on Ethereum because it was very expensive, and I was just testing it on Solana because there was still money to be made there.
Yeah, everything's on Solana now. That's like what I trade on is only Solana.
Yeah.
If Ethereum's kind of, it's like you have to pay so much money to even make transactions. So that's like kind of dead.
It's just like outrageous.
But what?
It's called gas. It's so like if it's super congested, you have to pay like a lot of money to like make the transaction happen, and you have to pay for it. And it could be more money than your NFT itself. It's kind of like ridiculous.
I love this, man. This is the first person that knows anything about crypto that's been on here.
Yeah,
what do you do besides? Do you do anything now? Like obviously it's a hot.
I was dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin for a while. I don't want to call myself a gambler, but I like to dabble and take super risks, but not throw all my money at stuff. Have you heard of dextools.io? Yeah, I like to just see what's randomly created like 24 hours ago and just see if it's gonna pop and I can make $100 or something.
Yeah. That's I'm trading like the meme coins all the time. So it's like if they get big enough, they're on Dex.
28 million Pepe.
Yeah, Pepe's good. Yeah, crypto is fun, man. It's like making money and so fast and losing. I mean, it is like that's the gambling aspect, but it is fun.
I've lost like $500 in like 5 seconds before. What was it? What is that? I can't remember what that trading website's called.
I only have $400 worth of Bitcoin, but
hey, it's 400.
Zero.
Yeah, I can't remember the site I was using to trade, but it was BTC with USD, and like I would either short or long it, and like I was just I was using my entire account, and I was like I won twice, and then I did it again, and then I lost in like 2 seconds because you could leverage, so you lose your money like in like 2 seconds. So it was like 500 gone. I was like, oh, okay, at least it was only like 500, not like 5,000. Like,
perps or that was like perpetuals. That's like the most dangerous thing because you can go up and down so fast. Yeah, I haven't played with that, and hopefully I never do. That's like hyper gambling. That's what I want to stay away from is doing perps.
My brother is a gambling addict, and he won $100,000 on a scratch ticket. He bought a house and a car, and he was like, "Okay, I'm good." But no, he's still gambling.
You can't stop. It's like it's the worst addiction because like you don't actually see it harm you. That's all people always say that. It's like, gotta stay away from the gambling. Hopefully me being in crypto hasn't made me develop a gambling thing, but I'm not sports betting and stuff. So I don't think it's got to me yet. I hope.
So I was only sports betting when I was on third shift, and there was another guy that was just sports betting on everything. So I was just like, yeah, let me do this parlay on this basketball. Sure. And I'm just like, oh, I won. My $5 turned into 70. He's like, what? And then I was putting like $20 on the Bruins just for fun, just because it was working. And then my account gets so big, and then I take more risk and I lose my whole account. I was like, yep.
That's how it works.
Like, so, you become who you surround yourself with.
That's true.
Me next to you is a gambling addict, you're gonna start gambling.
But what do you do? You just dollar cost average? Do you actually just like buy and hold and then just like sell partial? You said you're.
Dude, I'm trading like
coins.
Not that. So it's like the thing on Dex tools and like that's when somebody pays for the Dex of a coin. But you can create a coin. We can create one right now. It's like no time you can create one. I'm trading like new pairs and like stuff that's freshly like made within like minutes, or like I won't trade stuff that's been even 24 hours. Like stuff that's within the hour. So yeah, you're buying stuff for like 10K market cap, and I'm trying to flip it at like 50K or 120K and like stuff like that. So it's like fast wins and losses. Yeah, like I lost like $600 and
once it's already on Coinbase, it's over fast.
Like, yeah. I don't trade any big caps
already, and then you're gonna get dumped on like.
Yep. That's how it always works. And there's a lot to that with insiders and like they call it the cabal and stuff like that. And I don't think a lot of people know about that. But when something's on Coinbase, like recently, a lot have been getting listed like meme coins, and they just dump. But it's because all these holders have like a pretty big percentage, and like insiders have percentage, and it's like all the people that are just buying it on Coinbase, like normal people buy it. But the people like me who got in really early are just like dumping like $1 million clips off this chart and just killing it. And just taking their money, really, which is like a huge problem. Like deters people from crypto, but it's just the way it is.
Even some people get it like gifted before it's like released or something. I can't remember what that's called. I don't know if it's like
that's an insider
on the drop or something. Like
John and I are over here just like
yeah. It's like,
I actually listened to a podcast today and they were talking about this exact same thing about like he basically, it was my first million. I was going to tell Drew about it. He basically got gifted all these coins and had no idea what he's doing and like sold them, and then like all these people got mad at him, and then like he ended up like redonating to everyone who had it. It was like this whole thing, but it was interesting.
Yeah, I'm doing it full time right now. For the foreseeable future, because I'm up like this year. I'm profitable. I started in November and lost a lot of money, but my goal is just to make it. I just talked to a guy. We just had somebody on the pod. I met him last night. He turned 20K into 1.7 mil. So
yeah.
And he's like a big trader. I've been talking to him the last few days. So I know it's possible, especially when you talk to somebody like that. You're like, okay, it is. He did that in a month, or not even a month, 10 days. So like it can happen fast.
Yeah, there's a lot of money to be made if you know what you're doing, for sure.
Yep.
I love it because it's kind of like the Wild West, but like you got to be careful. There's a lot of money to be made, but it's like there's a lot of like bullshit out there too. You can buy something and be like, 0. Oh, okay. Next. Like a lot of it's kind of weird, but I don't know, it's so fun. I could talk about it all day.
Yeah, I want to do. Well, I was talking to him. We're gonna start like a Patreon soon. I was like, man, I just can't wait to just go on crypto rants in there for like the 5 people that want to hear about it. Which it does seem like I'm increasingly getting more DMs. There are people like, hey, have you heard about this? You heard about this? I'm like, all right, well, people are some way interested. They're getting into it.
Yeah,
which is always good. What else you got, John? About to be an hour.
Yeah. What? I just lost my train of thought. Are you guys
cryptoed out there?
What I was saying, like, what made you guys get a warehouse, and then do you plan on getting a bigger warehouse?
Well, we were working out of our bedroom, and then his little brother moved out, and then we took over that room, and we just quickly outgrew our space. Like, we were prepping in his mom's kitchen, we were prepping in his mom's living room. Like, we were taking over his parents' house, and
it was second story too. So I was bringing boxes downstairs, and I'm just like, this is insane.
It's nuts. So we saw this place. Actually, we toured another place that was like 20 minutes away, and it was like $1,000 more than this place. And this place is literally a diagonal from our house. So it just all aligned. And like I said, when we first moved in here, we're like, did we go too big? But no, it just all aligned where this place is quickly filled up. And I joke that I'm going to be on the sidewalk soon because like stations keep being built and creeping towards my little office space. I'm like, I'm going to be on the sidewalk outside this door soon. My space is getting increasingly smaller, and I'm getting claustrophobic over here. Like, look, I had to move the boxes next to me.
All right. Well, John, anything else? Close us off.
What's your guys' last parting words for the people?
Are we talking to newbies or anybody?
Anybody.
We have no clue.
I would say
your audience, Drew?
We're trying. We don't know.
Just don't give up, because when times get tough, once you get past that, you're gonna wish you didn't quit, because I feel like a lot of people quit way too early, and they could have just like done something life-changing.
Everybody has shiny object syndrome, and everybody has a problem with instant gratification. Take a break from your cell phone and the instant gratification. Take a break from social media, and then go deep dive into the thing that you want to do, and then see it through. I don't know if you've ever seen that meme. It's this meme of this diamond miner, and like in a cave, and it's a split screen. The top screen, the guy gives up halfway through. And in the bottom screen, it's one more thing from that guy that just gave up. It's one more thing, and then a pile of diamonds just just buries him. Have you seen that meme, Drew?
Somebody sent it to me yesterday.
Oh, really? So
Yep.
you just put that on this little YouTube video right here.
Glad it did.
It's literally just one. It could be you're one decision away from what was it? Not making it, but like you're one decision away from your goal. You're seeing it through and being a person of your word. You said you wanted to try this. Well, are you really just trying it, or are you trying it because you want it to be your full-time thing? Like, see it through. Like, figure it out. Your network matters too. If you're doing it by yourself, it's going to be much harder. Just join a community.
So much harder. Like when we first started, we were thinking, yeah, we'll be fine. We'll figure it out ourselves. And I wasn't buying any of the softwares and nothing. And I'm like, this is so hard. And then I was getting software and then networking. I'm like, things just getting easier and easier. Of course, it's still very difficult. Everything's difficult, but
because everything's behind a paywall or a course.
True.
Yeah.
How would you? Where can they find you on social media?
All Out Thompsons on Instagram, YouTube, X, and TikTok.
Sweet. And what do you say, John? Like, subscribe, comment, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Peace. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.